Hi YouTube, welcome back to another video from Wtf Rc Cars. So we've got the FRM 303 and the new Flysky radios, so this will only work on the NB4 Plus and NB4 Pro Plus. The reason it'll only work on these radios is because it uses trainer mode that's not available on the radios without the USB-C and the firmware to match trainer mode. And basically, historically, what we've had to do to use the range extender, I've done videos on putting the fully unlocked firmware on this so you can get the full 2 watts of transmission power, and explaining how to power it externally to get that. But traditionally, what we've had to have is the transmitter has to connect to a receiver that then has to be fastened to this. Then you've got to have a separate battery pack. Then you need another receiver in the RC. And I know and understand a lot of people have not been a fan of this. So Flysky have now released a kit that will fasten to the battery base on the NB4 Plus and the NB4 Pro Plus. It's just got little spacers you remove for the NB4 Pro Plus, for the NB4 Plus, sorry. And you leave the spacers in for the Pro. And basically, this mounts the entire thing on the transmitter, so it's all self-contained. There's no messing around with separate receivers to connect to this. You just have the one receiver in your RC. You can swap out this antenna, you can change the angle of it and everything. So it'd be a lot more convenient, especially for speedrun guys that need that extra range. Because with the right antenna and on full power, you've got up to 3,000 meters on this, rather than the 300 to 350 you've got from a stock transmitter. Quite excited about this because it does sort of put everything all in one package. So let's bring you in for a close-up look. I'll show you how to set this up, show you how to configure the FRM 303 to run off trainer mode, and show you how to bind it up to a receiver. So let's bring in for a close-up look and see how this one goes. So first off, we've got our FRM 303, and I'm just going to use an external battery just to show it because it's easier to get it all on camera. So we need to hold up and power on. You'll see it flash blue. We want to be alt weight at bottom. So you've got 1 flash, 2, 3, and then 4. I think it goes 5. These are all different modes, so basically all the way to the bottom, press and hold, and you'll see it beep. And then just to the left, that sets our mode for PWM, I think, or PPM, which is what we're going to use for the actual link between these two. Then we get this little thing that's got as power on. It holds 2 18650s. We've got a nice bracket solid on the bottom. You've got a little power switch on the top, and I'll explain that in a moment. So then we need to get our FRM 303, and you've got 2 little holes. All these screws come with the kit from Flysky. So basically, we're going to line the little hole up with the little hole on the back of the FRM 303. Then you're going to get the second small screw. You're going to put that in. That's going to give us a nice secure mount for the FRM 303. Then, because you guys are probably going to be running this in high power mode, it comes with a really nice fan. And when we plug this in, you're going to want the negative cable to that side. So we've got a nice tidy socket in the top. Then you get 4 of these longer screws. and this is going to provide plenty of cooling for the FRM 303 when it's in high power mode, because you do not want this shutting down mid-run. And don't go crazy over tightening these. They're only small threads into alloy, but as you can see, it's quite a tidy unit. We've then got the external power feed that we can plug in, and your on-off switch will want to go external when we power it up. Then we've got this little lead that actually makes us connection. This is what's going to send us data from us transmitter. So once we've got that, we can then move over to the transmitter itself, and we've got lovely carbon fibre ends on this, machined aluminium, nice steel screw threads, and you can see the little spacers at the bottom. Now you'd take them out if you want to put this on the NB4 Plus, or leave them in if you want to use it on the Pro. And it does come with two shorter screws for the bottom when you swap it over to the NB4 Plus. And with this, if we just back one of the screws out, you should be able to slide it over and get it in position. You just need to back one of the screws off and then take one out. And the carbon plates are machined on the back of them, so you can feel when they clip into the actual battery. So as you can see, it's a really nice fit. You won't be able to use this if you've got a cage on it, which is why I'm showing it on the Pro and not the NB4, both Plus versions obviously. So once we get that into place, let's see if I can do this. We've got a really nice anodized aluminium thumb screw, so we're going to line this up. And you should be able to drop the thumb screw into place. And then this cable, I just find it convenient, just wrap it round the thumb screw a couple of times, plug it into as USB-C. So hopefully you can see it's a really tidy package. You could take that down if you wanted to, but it's a really tidy, convenient setup. So then if we just back that screw off, you can drop it down. We can fit as batteries. Now these, you want some decent unprotected cells. The higher the milliamp hour, the better, get you a longer run time. The little switch on the top, if we power that on, we can see we've got a cooling fan, and that is really, really quiet. I like the way it's got LEDs in, so you can tell straight away whether you've got it on or not. This I've got set in low power mode because I'm just testing. So if we turn it on, you can see it'll light up red. So next, we're going to have to power up our NB4 Pro Plus. And this is the exact same process if we're doing it on the NB4 Plus as well. So to configure it, we need to go into his menu, we need to go into system settings, USB setup, make sure it's on trainer mode, and we can back out. And then if we turn on our base battery, we can see as lights change from red to blue, so it's looking for its receiver. You don't have to configure anything else on the actual transmitter. Then we've got as receiver, so let's get a few servos just so we can show what it's up to. So what we're going to have to do now is put our receiver into bind mode. Then we're going to have to get our FRM 303. Hold for 3 seconds. So if you press up, it'll go to setting 1. Press down 1, we'll go on setting 2. Press right, I'll tell it to bind. We're now bound up. We've got extended range because of this receiver with the big antennas. We've got our full power from our FRM 303, and then we can control whatever channels we've got set up. Just bear in mind, when you set the model, you're going to be limited to the number of channels that you've got set for that model. So on the Pro Plus, we can easily use all 12 channels on this. If you're doing this on the NB4 Plus, you're going to be limited to 8 channels. But this way, you can have one receiver in your RC, as you always would. I would advise going for one of the enhanced receivers with the dual antenna, because it's going to give you the best signal. But you can use any of the receivers. I've done videos showing what all the different settings are for bind on the actual FRM 303. Bound this way, if we lose signal, we'll get a warning. As soon as you've got power on the RC, you've got it set. And there is model memories on this, and I've covered all that. If you search for the playlist for the FRM 303, I go into in depth on how to set the firmware, how to set the full power, how to change the power settings and everything. But hopefully you can see this is a really, really tidy, convenient way of doing this. There's a number of things that I like on this. One, it's one nice tidy package. You're not messing around with any other batteries. These batteries, make sure they are matched. These are. I'm not sure why that one's got SpongeBob on it. I think the outer coating got cut on it when I was using it in my vape. But they are the exact same batteries. I love the way we've got a cooling solution built on. And this is really, really quiet. But it is putting a lot of air past as little cooling fins. The way that it powers, the way that you can just turn this on and off, and it connects straight back up. Your actual transmitter itself, the only thing you have to make sure that you do is the USB setup, have it on trainer mode, and make sure the base battery is turned on so it enables the USB-C socket. Kind of explains why the game controller mode requires a double tap. I did sort of allude to there was other uses for this this setup, for this socket. But yeah, I mean, for me, that is just a really, really convenient all-in-one solution, not messing around with separate receivers, and a big thing, doesn't void your warranty. You're not taking your transmitter apart to solder extra wires in. It doesn't take away from any of the functionality of the transmitter. So if you don't want to use it, you can literally unplug your USB-C, take the thumb screw out. You can even leave this bracket on as a bit of a protector if you want. And you can carry on using your transmitter with all your other RCs. You've not got a bulky module that's constantly glued or screwed to your transmitter. And it does work exactly the same for the NB4 Plus. So rather than unplug everything, what I'm going to do, if we just turn this on and turn that one off, if your transmitter does lose power, this will stay connected. So I really like that option. So if we just power that off and we go on to as NB4 Plus, we make sure trainer mode's enabled, we come out. So if I just plug this cable in, and we power up our bass. So it's really convenient. You can just swap between transmitters. I just really like this. It'll work with the NB4 Plus and the NB4 Pro Plus. You can be on any model memory, just set it to PWM. The only thing you've got to remember is the settings for this. This is connecting to the actual FRM 303, so make sure you're on the correct model on your transmitter, because it's going to send trainer mode out on any model. So just make sure that the model you want to control is the one that you've selected, so all your endpoints and everything are correct. But it does follow all the functionality, all the expo and everything is all getting sent straight across. But yeah, really like this setup. I think Sky's done an absolute fantastic job. The way that it'll work with the NB4 Pro Plus or the NB4 Plus, and all we've got is this tiny little cable, and that just goes into his actual transmitter USB-C port.
Welcome to Noble Portland.
And away you go. I think this is a fantastic option for anybody that's into speedrunning or anything. I mean, if I'm really quiet and I hold this fan up, it's very quiet. I love the way you've got the switch, so you can just power it off. But yeah, really nice option. If you read through the setup for your FRM 303 as well, it'll show you what to do with your fail-safes. So you will have options on there. You can change the fail-safe. So if this loses power, it'll either stay where it is, or you can have it so it'll go back to a set position. But I would advise follow the fail-safe setup, because you don't want that losing power and your RC shooting off. Just same as any transmitter setup. But yeah, it's really easy to bind up. I've done videos showing how to bind this in routine mode and classic mode. So depending on whether you want to use an old style receiver or like the FTR10, you can use this with it. You just have to put that, when you're putting it in bind mode, you have to set it to the one relevant to the actual receiver that you're going to be using. But I just think this is a far nicer option than having to mess around with separate batteries, receivers and everything. And like I say, if you then don't want to use it, we can just power off. You've got the USB-C plug that you need to take out. We take off just the thumb screw and we can power that off completely. But yeah, then you can just use your actual transmitter just as standard with all your normal receivers, your normal model memories and everything. So yeah, I think Sky has done an absolutely amazing job of making a range extender definitely far more user friendly for the new Plus radios. Love the fact that it just connects to the USB-C, and as I say, it's really simple to swap this between the Pro Plus base or the standard NB4 Plus base. You just undo these screws and take these little spacers out. I would show you, but I've got the big aluminium protector on the bottom of the NB4 Plus, but I did power it up and show you. It works exactly the same. Main thing is just remember you need your base powered up to enable the USB-C connection. So main things to remember: choose your receiver That'll dictate what protocol you're going to bind from the FRM 303. On the transmitters, the only setting you need to do is go to System and then USB and set it to trainer mode. That'll enable us output. Make sure your base battery's on, and away you go. It really is that simple. You can leave the trainer mode on all the time. There's no detriment to it, and it does allow you to just unplug the USB-C under the thumb screw and take the whole unit off and just carry on using your transmitter as normal. Again, huge plus that it doesn't affect any warranty or anything. It gives you option of massive range, and I've done a full playlist on the FRM 303 showing how to put the dev firmware on it, how to change the power modes, how you'd bind to all different receivers, and the classic and the enhanced ones. So yeah, I think Source Sky's done an absolute cracking job. So let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the Source Sky range extender sort of add-on for the NB4 Plus and the NB4 Pro Plus. Again, it has to be the Plus radios because these are the only ones with the trainer mode and the USB-C enabled. But yeah, so convenient, and I think this is really a game changer. We needed this for the speedrun guys. Love the way that they've even thought of powering the cooling fan. The fact that it's 18650s that you can pick up from anywhere. There's nothing really stopping you from popping the 18650s off. And if you wanted, you could just make up a little power lead and you can just strap a LiPo pack to the back of it. So if that's more convenient for you. But I think just using the 18650s is just a really convenient way. Really easy to charge these things because I think Nightcore do the D4 charger, quite a few because of how popular they are in vapes. But yeah, you can get pretty decent capacity out of these things, and they will take a beating. Because they use them in a lot of vapes, you can get these that can handle 30 amp, 40 amp easily. So yeah, just a really nice convenient way of getting a range extender. Technically, it should be forwardly compatible if we get a new version of the FRM. So, but yeah, absolutely love this. Just so convenient, works fantastic, nice and easy to take off. And as always, if I can find it, I'll leave a link in the description below. So, thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.